All right, today's lesson, I want to show you how to use Logger Pro to control the Labquests and the data loggers, the sensors that we have here at the school. So currently I have my Labquest with a temperature probe doing the specific heat capacity lab. I also have the micro USB to USB cable. Now, it's currently showing 22.3 degrees on my Labquest. Now, when I plug in the USB, I'll go away, it should auto-detect, and the Labquest turns into transfer mode, where it's just acting as a conduit between the software and the sensor. So now I have the ability to control my data logging via the Logger Pro 3 software. So what we can do, we can go experiment, start collection. Well, we actually want to go down to data collection, Control D, and here we've got all of the controls that you would find on the Labquest. So for example, I'm going to record the temperature for about 10 minutes because that's how long I have before my class starts. So I'm going to go into minutes, change the time to 10, and the sample rate. Well, how much data do I want to collect? If I made it, every 2 seconds, I'd get 30 by 10 is 300. 2 samples a minute. That would give me 20 bits of data, which would then start to be generated here on the panel. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go, okay, time-based. We're not doing any triggering. You can trigger it for when the temperature goes above. And in fact, this might be a good idea for your investigation. I'm going to show you a weird phenomena that occurs when we start our specific heat lab. But for now, I'm just going to click the collect button up there. So I'm going to press done here. I'm going to click collect, and we're going to start recording. So I'm going to turn on my power supply, which is currently running at 2.8 amps. I haven't put the voltmeter in yet, but I will do in just a moment. And I'll keep talking for about 10 seconds so that the next, the 30-second interval should hopefully be generated. And the data will track live across the graph. So we see there's a little dot there at the moment. There we go. So there's our second data. You can auto scale and it will oh, here we go. Look at that. This is now live data, auto scaling. And obviously the next bit of data that's going to come in the next 30 seconds will hopefully, it will auto scale the axes to show the next data entry. Okay. Now, when you did this lab, oh, there we go. Lovely. We've got a little bit of an increase. Still 22.3, but we are getting an increase to more significant figures. When you did this lab in year 11 at the start of the year, you simply measured the initial temperature and the final temperature. But with this data that I'm going to collect, there's going to be a part 2 to this tutorial. We're actually going to see if we can get some information from the gradient of this graph. Possibly not, we'll go the gradient, I reckon. We can take this data as well, we can throw it into Excel, or we can play around with the graphical analysis in Logger Pro. Okay, so that's how easy it is. You basically plug in your Labquest. It will auto-detect if you've got 2 channels or 3 channels, then it would simply generate temperature 1, temperature 2, temperature 3. The most important thing is to simply go down to data collection. You don't have to set up sensors. It automatically detects them. One other thing, just before I finish. This is going to stop recording at 10 minutes. However, if we want to continue, maybe you haven't got enough data yet, maybe the patterns aren't there, you can always extend your collection, okay? If I was to simply stop right now, then I would have five lines of data and 5 measurements. I could walk out of this classroom and just leave it running, which might be handy for you if you come after school. Basically, I could leave this classroom, come back in 10 minutes, and all of the data has been collected for me. Okay? Or if you're there monitoring the experiment and decide that it's not enough, you can always add an extra period of time to your data collection. Okay? Okay, so we'll leave it there. In fact, if I just go back to, I think the easiest way, oh, hang on. I have to remember how to use the easiest way. If you want to go back to what our initial axes were, you just go to the top and you can drag your temperature scales down at the top, and also you can bring it back to an appropriate scale if you want to zoom out. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and I will be back in a part 2 looking at how we can analyze the data. So see you all later.